Egypt. These pictures live from Tahrir Square in Cairo show what's happening there. Thousands of people in Cairo in what could be the biggest demonstration since the fall of Mubarak. Egyptians trying to keep the pressure on the country's new military rulers. There are similar displays going on in Suez and Alexandria. Well, with me now is Shadi Hamid, the Director of Research at Brookings Doha Center. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
Protests have been ongoing in Egypt ever since Mubarak left, but this looks to be the most significant of them all. Just describe what you sense as being the mood here and whether it's significant at all.
Well, I think this is really a big deal because I think up until now there was a sense that many Egyptians were getting tired of this every Friday protest situation. They wanted to return to stability, and it seemed like the protesters were losing momentum. But I think we've seen a shift in mood because of the events of June 28th, where security forces used, attacked families of martyrs and protesters in Tahrir Square, more than 1,000 injured. So I think that's really been a turning point in terms of galvanizing the opposition and bringing them together, because the last few weeks the Muslim Brotherhood was not participating in the Tahrir protests, but today it is. So that shows that liberals and Islamists are coming together because they feel that the military hasn't done enough to prosecute regime officials and to respect the will of the people.
Are they right to be angry, or is this just a situation of, well, you can't have a revolution and expect a perfect system to replace it the following day?
Well, I think people feel that they've been betrayed because they called it a revolution on February 11th. It seemed like the old regime was going to remove itself or fall apart. But the military is using many of the same tactics of the old Mubarak regime: military tribunals, torture, putting people in prison without due process. The list goes on. So people, they hear about the revolution, but they don't see it.
Right. But again, do you think this is actually indicative of the fact that the current military government is simply the same as the past military government and has the same intent? Or is this that it's just taking it a long time to dismantle the institutions of the old government, which is going to be hard to do, right, isn't it?
I think the military is doing some positive things, but they don't want to dismantle the old structure entirely, because after all, the military was the backbone of the Mubarak regime for almost 30 years. They're not a pro-democracy organization, as many people might have initially thought on February 11th. And I think also the military is concerned first and foremost with stability and security. That's what they're about.
Well, from what you're saying, it would be easy to conclude that what we still have in Egypt then are two almost irreconcilable parties, and the revolution doesn't seem to have changed that.
Well, I think that's why the hope is really with the upcoming elections, because the military has said that they're willing to go back to the barracks and give up power to a civilian government. So I think the quicker we get to that point and there are free elections, I think Egyptians will be able to move on and have a more representative government.
Shadi, thanks very much indeed for coming in.
Thanks.